Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing Fool of a Clue. I'm going to I'm going to make the remark that I can't believe that's yet another puzzle that I missed, just like that Easter box of surprises. This was a very interesting looking puzzle from Dr. Logic that he's actually posted for April's Fool's Day. And here I am posting it for the 14th of April, 2 weeks late almost to the day. And what you can see here in the picture is essentially just the representation of April, or I guess spring, with cherry blossoms, Sleuth wearing a fool's hat, or kind of an adapted fool's hat to still make him look like a detective somehow, and of course a tie to match. Now, fingers crossed, today's puzzle will not make a fool of us, but I'm really enthusiastic about it because it's not a... I mean, it's sort of a variant that I've seen before with sort of the Rongen series, where essentially the clues are not meant to be what they mean, but how about I just show you the grid and explain the rules? That will help us all quite a bit. Let's do that now. So, Fool of a Clue by Dr. Logic. Now, normal Sudoku rules apply, but standard variant rules cannot apply. So, each variant is tricking you. The opposite is actually true. Each variant is negated as follows. Thankfully, the normal Sudoku rules still apply, so that means place the digits 1 to 9 once each, in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box. I'll be honest, I really struggle with puzzles that don't feature normal Sudoku rules. Second is the Nabner line. These are these gold lines. And you may remember that normally Nabner lines are a set of non-consecutive digits. None of the digits there can be consecutive. But in this case, it's doing the polar opposite. It's essentially a Rembrandt line. Digits form a set of consecutive digits in any order. So for example, imagine that this is a 1. That means that the rest of these are going to have to be from 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, it could be in any order, so that could be the 5, that could be the 4, this could be the 2, this could be the 3. That would be a valid pencil mark for this fool's Nabner line. Next, we have the killer cage. There must be at least one repeated digits within the cage. So I don't know if I want to sort of explain this, but normally killer cages, which you can see, are here and there. The normal variant rule is that none of the digits can repeat inside the cage. Here it's telling you explicitly that one of the digits must repeat. I'm not going to say too much more about that. Thermometer, so digits along the thermometer must strictly decrease from the bulb end. So normally you would have to have something like 2, 3, you can always skip a digit, 7, 8, 9. That'll be a normal thermometer setup where the digits are increasing from the bulb end, as it would with a physical thermometer. Now it's saying it's the total opposite. It has to strictly decrease. So this is the highest digit, this is the lowest digit, and essentially we're increasing as we get closer to the bulb end. Quadrouple, so digits contained in the white circles cannot appear in the surrounding 4 cells. So these 4 cells essentially are not 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5 would be in the remaining cells. Same again in here. We also have white dots. They are not consecutive, as you can imagine. Cells separated by a white dot must be in a 1 to 2 ratio. So if that was well, that can't even be a 4 because that would be breaking the cell. So if that was an 8, this would have to be in 4 to make sure that they're in a 2 to 1 ratio. They are not consecutive. One cell is double the other. Last but not least, cells separated by a V sum up to 10. They don't sum up to 5. If that was a 1, this would have to be a 9. If that was a 2, this would have to be an 8 to make sure that they do sum up to 10. So, if you're not already tired of April's Fool's jokes and tricks, I mean, it's almost tempting to switch on the eyelash as well, just to add to it all. But, it is 2 weeks late, so I'm not going to do that. As always, link will be in the description down below as usual for you to play along. And fingers crossed this puzzle will not make a fool of me. And I'll restart the clock, see how I get on now. Sorry, I'm just taking it all in. And I can So I didn't want to explain that when I was looking through the rules, but essentially this cell is somewhere along this cage. These two cells are actually exactly the same. No, this cell could be essentially somewhere in this entire cage, so it doesn't actually have to be this top cell. I don't know why I thought it would be, but that is certainly the case here. The thermometers, they're 6-cell thermometers, so there's still quite a few degrees of operance. 3 degrees of freedom, so not the place to go. And we don't have any, 3 cells that are consecutive with white dots. So really the only place that I'm thinking of is essentially box 1, and I'll explain why that is the case. These 2 cells add up to 10. These 2 cells add up to 10 again. That means that these 5 cells add up to 25, and they have to be consecutive, remember. You might say, Sleuth, well, how did you determine that? Well, remember, normal Sudoku rules thankfully apply. So that means every box has the digits 1 to 9 once each. You add them all up, they get to 45. You take away any 10, that's 35. You take away another 10, that's 25. Consecutive digits means this has to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1 to 5 would only be 15, and 5 to 9 would be 35, way too big. We're essentially in the middle between these two. It is 3 to 7. These are now, I'm not going to pencil mark them 1, 2, 8, 9, but you get the picture. Interestingly, the thermometers now are actually quite interesting, because essentially these cells do not include 1, 2, or 8, 9. So I can place them because they're extreme digits, and we have first digits in under 2 minutes. That's always a cause for celebration on a 2-star difficulty rated puzzle. Right, where do we go from here? 1 and 2 makes me very tempted to take a look at this. So essentially, this is either going to be 3, 6 or 4, 8. And the 3 and 4 can't be in this cell because of this anti-quadruple or fool's quadruple. So the 3, 4 are in here, and therefore this is 6 or 8. Not exactly helpful, if I'm honest. In fact, Sleuth, how about the rest of this? Where do 3, 4, 5 go in this box? Well, they're all up here, essentially, because they can't be in these 4 cells. They're not the 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5. Same again in here, 3, 4, 5. And now this is 6, 7, 8, 9. This is 6, 7, 8, 9, except this is on a fool's white Kropke dot. Yeah, not a lot to go on today. This is not 1 and 8, so this could be 2, 4, or 3, 6. Clutching at straws really there. I'm not going to pencil mark this one. I guess I may as well now just think about this thermometer. So this is not a 1. It could be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Because we have an 8 in here, that's a maximum of 9. It can't even be an 8. This could be 6, 7, or 8. This can't even be a 5. We've got 3, 4, 5, so not a 5. This is 6 or 7. Therefore, this is not a 6. Can this actually even be a 7? No, because the minimum here is 7. That's a 9. That's forced. This is 5 or 6. This is 4 or 5. Did I do this? What did I do here? 3, 4, 5. Yeah. And this can't be 3 or 4 because we've got 3, 4, 5 looking at it. So it gives me a 2. 2 is in one of these 2 cells now, just classic Sudoku. That's a 2. That would be a 4. I don't see a problem with that, if I'm honest. That would be, yeah, that seems fine. That'll become 5 or 6. Yeah, really clutching at straws here. How about this Nabner, Remban line? So it's a 5-cell full Nabner line, and I don't have a 2 on it. So that means I also don't have a 1 on it. Otherwise, how am I going to make that consecutive? 1s, not on any of these, not the line, that's a 1. Now, essentially, I either have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or of course 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, it does make these quite restricted. It's essentially from 3, 4, 8, or 9. This, because of the 3, 4, 5, tells me this is not 3 or 4, it's 8 or 9. Which tells me at a minimum that 4 has to be on the Nabner line. Is that the right way to think about it? Because essentially, if I don't have 8 or 9, if I don't have a 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, that can't be a 4. If I don't have an 8 either, then obviously that would have to be, the 3 would have to be on there, but I'm not sure what else I can do with that just yet. Sudoku, of course, Sleuth. Whenever you get stuck, just use Sudoku, please. This is a 1-2 pair. That 1 tells me that this is a 2, this is a 1, this is a 4. Neither of these now are a 4. That can still be a 5. That could be 5, 6, 7. That's not a problem. 4 in here tells me that the 4 is on this cell in this Nabner. We know that one of these two cells is definitely a 9 now at this point. We just don't know if it's joined with a 3 or an 8. What we do know is 5, 6, and 7 are in here. And actually, we may as well just complete this column. What are these cells? Essentially, I have another 6, 7, and another 8, 9. So I'm going to just go with 6, 7, 8, 9. But the 9 can't be on the Nabner. Therefore, the 9 is in here. That's not a 9. This is 3 or 8. And therefore, this is 5, 6, or 7 with a definite 5. Actually, can it be an 8? That'll put 6, 7, 5, 8, and 3. I think it can be. Definite 5 tells me that's not a 5, that's a 6, that's a 7, that's an 8. These are not, this is now not a 7, this is a 6, 8 pair. 8 is definitely now on the Nabner, which means this is a 5, 7 pair, and this is a 3. This 6 gives me up here an 8, a 4, a 3, 5 pair, not a 4, therefore not a 2. Yeah. These two cells are another pair. They are 9 and something. 9 and 3 and 9. That can't be a 3. That's the 3. That's the 9. This gives me a 6 and 7 in here. This 3 gives me a 5 in there. These are 8 and 9. And we know the orders. This is 9. This is 8. Right. What else do we know? Here's a neat trick, I think. So the 8, so remember, we have, actually, I'm just going to do it 1, 8, 2, 9, because essentially we have a 1, 9, 2, 8 pair. The 8 and 9 means the 8 is on top with a 2, and this 9 tells me this is a 9 with a 1. Now, remember this cell, this 8, has to repeat somewhere in this cage. So that can't be the 8, is what I'm trying to say. In fact, the 8 is actually quite restricted because of this 8. It's in none of these cells. And if I put an 8 in here, I've essentially created a killer cage of unique digits. So one of these two cells has to be an 8. And therefore, this is a 1, this is a 9, this is an 8, this is a 2. 9 now in box 4. Only one of these cells could do, and this is 6 or 7. And this is 6, 7, 8. May as well just complete it. Corners are kind of barely visible, if I'm honest. This was never a 5 because we had a 3, 4, 5 looking at it. Sorry, I'm being a bit slow today. This stuff should be flowing a little bit more easily. This 2 is very helpful. That's not a 2, that's not a 4. This is a 3-6 pair now. We don't have anything that's telling us how to resolve it just yet, but progress. 2, 2 tells me 2 is in here. 4, not 4. I mean, nothing's wrong with me having a 4 in there, because that could be a 3, or it could be a 2-4 pair as well. So, yeah, not too sure, other than the 2. Once again, I may have to hit. Okay, this cell is surely resolved. I've got 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 all looking at it, and it has to be bigger than 3. So I'm almost certain this has to be a 4 because, yeah, can't be 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, and obviously it needs to be less than 8 and 9. Therefore, this is 3. This is a 4, 5 pair. 3 and 4 are not in here. This is a 5, 6, 7 setup. 3 and 4 are in there. That gives me 5. That is not a 5. This is another 6, 7. It's not a 6. We've got a 3, 6 pair already. That's a 7. That's a 6. This is a 5, 7 pair. Can I resolve any of this yet? No. What about now? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tells me this is 1, 2, or 3. It's not a 2. I mean, I guess, again, it's 1, 2, or 3. It is not a 1. It could be 1 and 2. Doesn't have to have. In fact, one of these is a 1. Where does 1 go in row 7? That's the only place for a 1. Therefore, this is 2 or 3. It's not a 3. This is 2. This is 3. This is 4. This is 3. Lovely. 4 keeps going. 5, 4. So we have essentially another 6, 7 in here, plus a 2. That's the 2. This is 6 or 7. And in there we have another 6, 7 plus a 5. 5, 6, 7. Not resolved, not resolved. Fair enough. This is surely resolved. Yes, it is. That gives me 6 and 3, which keeps going. That gives me 7 and 6, keeps going. 5 and 7. Looking very good now. These 2 cells we actually know they are in fact 2, 4, like we were discussing earlier. We haven't actually used these clues. In fact, we haven't used this clue either. Come on, that was there for the taking a long time ago. Remember, these cells need to be the same. That is not an 8. That is a 6. That is a... I'm guessing, pardon me, this is just kind of normal checking, crying about, you know, the shenanigans we're getting up to. I'm going to have to sort of just disable this, which is a bit of a shame. I really don't like to, because sometimes I have typos. Say sometimes, all the time, I have typos, and it just be very clumsy if I make a mistake now and it just have to unwind it and you end up watching me. So I'm going to ignore this for a while, and hopefully we'll still actually mark it as correct. We'll see. So this is 2, 4, 7. That's not a 7. This is 2 or 4. If it's a 2, this can be a 1. This can't be a 4. Okay, so 2, 1 works. If that's a 4, this can't be an 8, nor can it be a 2. That's 2, that's 1, that's 4, that's 2. These are not 2s. 4, 7 are not resolved. That is a 5. These 3 cells are now known. In fact, the 1 is just placed. Then I need 8 and 9. That's the 9. That's the 8 because of this 9. Come on, we're nearly there. These 2 cells we can at least pencil mark. We need a 3, which is in here. Then we need a 5, which resolves 7 and 5. This cell is now known. It is 7. Thank you. Which gives me 4 and 7. These are now, we're kind of at very end now, unless I've made any mistakes. That's the 6 for the solution. Beautiful puzzle, Dr. Logic. I'm so sorry for not featuring it earlier, but what a phenomenal puzzle. So tempted to see if it actually solves if we treat these variants as intended. Because, you can see some things like 5 digits on a Nabner will have to be all odd digits. This would be 4, 6, and 2, 8. It would be very interesting to see if it solves. I am actually going to try and attempt this, and if it does solve, I will post it on Patreon. But that's it for today. I hope that you enjoyed the puzzle, and I don't know what to recommend based on this because it's nothing like we featured before. So I hope you enjoyed the puzzle and the video. I'll let YouTube recommend some random next video for you, which hopefully you'll enjoy as well. Bye bye for now.